Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we have a short ranking video for you again today. I have my top 10 fantasy creatures all lined up and really excited to share those with you. But I want to take a quick second and introduce myself. My name is Haley, and here are my socials. This is my realm of creativity where I mainly focus on fantasy and makeup related things, so if that sounds interesting to you, please consider subscribing and becoming a companion on my makeup quest. I usually upload videos on Tuesdays and Thursdays around 1 o'clock, but it is Bamus. I think that's what I'll be calling it. This is Bamus, so you get to see me every day. It is the month of December, so I am uploading a video every day this month. Now let's get into the video. So ranking my fantasy creatures was a little difficult because I didn't really want to include like humanoids, like elves, dwarves, stuff like that. I wanted to really focus on creatures, animal, fantasy creatures. So I have 10. I don't have any honorable mentions, so we'll just jump right in. At number 10 is the Pegasus. I think Pegasus are a really cool concept. I like them more than unicorns. Yes, you can hate me. I like them more than unicorns. I think unicorns are just a little overdone. I don't think Pegasus get enough love in the fantasy realm. I thought they were really cool in Hercules. Well, I thought Pegasus was a really cool creature in Hercules. And I think that they should, get a little bit more love than they do. I don't think that anybody really thinks about Pegasus. So I have them on my ranking as number 10. Number 9 is the Hydra. I think that it is a really interesting creature concept, and I am also interested in doing a fierce face of all these fantasy creatures, kind of the lore behind them, and different ways they've been interpreted throughout history. And the Hydra is one of those that's really interesting because you have them in a lot of different mythologies, and I think that they are really a good creature to give kind of like a danger, but also a misunderstanding of evil. Like, I think that they could play both sides. Hydra is like good and bad, and like they're a really dynamic creature. I ranked Hydra as number 9. Number 8 is Harpies. And when I think of Harpies, I think of when I was like 13 playing World of Warcraft and killing harpies. And when I was coming up with this ranking, I thought of harpies initially, but I didn't really know where I would put them. And when I brought them up to my husband, he was like, harpies are evil. And I was like, why? And he said that they were like torturers in hell, like they're like demons. And I thought that was super cool. I didn't know that. And so that just pushed them up in my ranking. Like, they were below Hydra. And then he's like, yeah, they torture people. I was like, good. Good. I think that I say things are fascinating a lot. Sorry, I think lots of things are fascinating. But yeah, I didn't know that about harpies. I liked the aesthetic of them mostly for that's why they were initially in my head. So they are kind of humanoid, but also not really as human-esque as like say elves are. But yeah, harpies are number 8. Number 7 are fairies, and I don't think that fairies are superhuman-esque, like elves, dwarves, stuff like that. Are they human adjacent? Yeah, I would say they're human adjacent, but I wouldn't put them on the same level as fairies and as elves and dwarves. I think fairies are a lot more mischievous, and I think that they have a lot of cool quirks about them and different lores, and I think that they are I think that fairies are really cool and have definitely evolved into different things for different like stories. Some fairies are really whimsical and good-natured and stuff like that, and then sometimes they're plotty and trickery. They're tricky and deceitful. So I think that they are, again, like the Hydra, really dynamic when it comes to putting them in different stories and different worlds. I think that they are there's a wide range of what a fairy can be, and they aren't usually pigeonholed into like just being a good fairy or just being a bad fairy. I think that they're pretty dynamic when it comes to the way that they can be represented in literature and film. Number 6 is Ents. I love Lord of the Rings. I will probably have my top 10 movies up before this video, and so you guys know I love Lord of the Rings. I am unclear as to what other fantasy realms Ents exist in. I'm sure that they do. I'm not ever gonna say that they don't. I am just not as aware of them as I am, say, fairies or hydras or stuff of that nature, where I know that there is a broad range of representation in different literature and films. I have only seen them. I love the Ents in that story and in that world, so that enough is enough for me to rank them as high as I do. So Ents are number 6. Number 5, we are breaking into top 5. Number 5 is the Griffin, which I think is another one of those dynamic, versatile kind of creatures. They usually have a specific way that they're portrayed, very noble, very proud creatures, but for the most part I feel like they fit in a lot of different types of stories, so I think that they're versatile in that aspect, not necessarily how they're portrayed like fairies can be. So to me, I think that they are just it's nice to have that kind of consistency for a creature in different stories and films, because it has a familiarity that travels from story to story. So that is why Griffins are number 5. Number 4 is probably my most human adjacent, and that is the Yeti. Yetis. Let's talk about Yetis. I was obsessed with Bigfoot, and yes, I know Sasquatches and Yetis are not the same, okay? In high school, I would watch like Finding Bigfoot on, I think it was Discovery Channel or Animal Planet. It was one of the two. I'd watch those a lot. And I was really interested in trying to find Bigfoot, but I'm not as into Sasquatches anymore as I was in like high school. I've shifted more towards Yetis because I feel like there's a more fantastical element to them. A more, not exactly fantasy, but more lore than, not more lore than Sasquatches, I find. Oh, I got a brain freeze. Where I feel like Sasquatches are more, not tangible, but connected to a reality where people think that Sasquatches exist, where Yetis are more mythical in being. So I like snow leopards, I like polar bears, and that kind of, if I could tolerate the cold and if I never was cold, I would really like you know, Alaska, Antarctica, cold places. But I like the aesthetic of a tundra. So yeah, I there's a wildcat outside my door. Oh my god, he's so fat. I'm back. Where was I? About Yetis? I'll just leave it at Yetis are just better than Sasquatches. Number 3 is the Phoenix. Kind of similar to Griffins. They are adaptable in the type of story they can be in, but they're portrayed pretty consistently as rebirth, as like a guardian or a guiding figure in a story. So I like, for the same reasons that I like the Griffin is the reason why the Phoenix is on the list, but I like the aesthetic of a Phoenix a little more than a Griffin. Some of these I liked for the same reasons, but I had to think of aesthetically what I liked more. And oh, really, Blanche. And sometimes I think that I really can't. Oh my god, I'm having like not a brain freeze, but like a sugar rush. I'm having a sugar rush, so it's hard to talk. I had to think of what aesthetics of the creatures that I liked were, and which ones I felt were, you know, you can like the aesthetics of something and not really have a reason, so stop trying to justify yourself. Haley, come on. Top 2. Pause the video and let me know what you think my top 2 fantasy creatures are. I'm waiting. Number 2 is a kraken. I love the water. I love, there's something deeply drawing to the depths of the ocean. Like, you just want to be down there and see the things in the darkness. Can you breathe down there? No. We're not thinking about that. That's not realistic. What we're thinking about is the mystery of the depths and just the sheer magical ability of the depths, because a lot of times we don't know what's down there. We don't know what's down there currently in our own actual world. You have this added power down in the depths that you don't know about. And it's just it's a creature that is just unapologetically strong and badass and can kill you. And there's just a raw power to a kraken that is really almost unmatched in a lot of large creatures, and it's very animalistic. There's really nothing in any fantasy films or literature that I'm aware of, there's nothing human about a kraken. It is just a creature that does what it wants, and the fact that it's in the sea makes it 1,000 times better for me because I love water. So elementally, water is my element. That is why kraken is number 2. Number 1 is a dragon. I love dragons so much. If they exist, like, I love dragons. I cried when the dragons died in Game of Thrones. Like, I love dragons. Like, I like them. I love them. They are very much similar to the krakens, where they're just like raw power and energy that is really unmatched, but sometimes it can have not a humanoid, but human-like aspects. I'm thinking of the dragon in Merlin, which is one of my all-time favorite shows. I'm thinking of Dragonheart dragons. Those, I've been around the block a few thousand years and I know what I'm talking about. But having the strength to back up what I'm saying, but on the flip side of that, there's also just dragons that are just animals. They're just creatures that want to eat, that want to hunt, that will burn down your village if you get too close to its lair or piss it off. Like, it is one of those versatile creatures. Again, it can play a lot of different roles and can adapt to different environments, like physical environments, not like literal not like literary environments. A dragon can be in the forest, it can be underwater, it can be in the mountain, it can be in the snow, it can be in a lot of different climates, which adds another layer of maybe powers that it could have. It is just overall my hands down favorite creature. And yeah, that's why it's number one. If you guys like this video, please please subscribe. Comment down below what your favorite fantasy creature is, anything that you think that I should know about, regarding any creatures that I brought up today. I'd love to hear your feedback and get to know your guys' favorite fantasy creatures and the realms in which you like them in. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!